is absolutely fraudulent, and even Elon Musk said that they ought to be defunded. Completely agree with him. I completely could not agree more. I think I'm really happy with this Trump administration. I mean, I hope they're doing well for the Americans, but they somehow are helping Africans at the same time, because they're calling out organizations like the UN, who are just blood-sucking, all about greed. They even did a last point. I don't know if I've talked about it when I spoke about it when you went here, Aline Ma'an. And I think, guys, visit Adna, the girl at the top, Adna Idris. They and the African Union are asking for reparation. They asked the African Union and the UN came together and they said, you know what? The funds that are coming from America, all this aid is stopping. The Europeans are realizing we're absolute fraud. They're not going to fund us. Let's ask for reparation on colonial borders. The very organizations that are supposed to be uplifting human rights have never spoken about the human violation in Somaliland. These very organizations have not invited Somaliland, a country that was under the British colonial power. It was a protectorate. We were not invited either to that sitting. It is a money grabbing machine. 70% of the 73%, I think they were speaking about it, of the African Union comes from donation. It needs to be scrapped. This African Union thing needs to be scrapped, and I'll pass it back to Lima. And I think I've gone on for a bit too long. UNTMS,
Yeah, thank you,
Lima, what's your opinion?
We have a new request. Yeah, you are right. ATMIS is not keeping the peace. They are breaking the law. And they are violating us. So that is the undeniable truth. You know, by treating Somaliland as part of Somalia, ATMIS is breaking international law. No treaty, no union, no consent. UN Charter Article 102 was violated. The Vienna Convention was ignored. The AU owns 2005 fact-finding mission was discarded, and the AU Charter 4B, respect for colonial borders, was just trampled on. ATMIS is not a neutral peacekeeper. It enforces a lie by aiding Somalia in impersonating a state and occupying territory it has no legal claim to. This is like more than technicality. It's textbook violation of international law and the violation of Somaliland sovereignty and the principles of the African Union's own foundational principles. Somaliland did not sign a treaty, Somaliland did not ratify a union, and Somaliland never consented to ATMIS operating on its soil under Somalia's name. So ATMIS, they can be held accountable, and the international community have to stop rewarding fraud. They need to stop sending money to them because it is fraud. They are the terrorists. They are killing themselves. So let them fix their own problem. And they need to stop calling it territorial integrity because it's state impersonation, it's treaty fraud, and it's the breach of every law that the peacekeepers are sworn to uphold. So yeah, thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Lynn Ma'an. I did want to talk about, I think we've spoken about majority of things. We talked about the African Union, we talked about the UN. I think we need to emphasize on the lack of territorial integrity. I think the international community needs to realize that this is fraudulent activity, this is a lie, and these claims ought to be challenged as soon as possible. I did want to ask you, Lynn Ma'an, as a Somalilander, I think you probably don't live in Somaliland. How does it, like, you probably have family members that are there. How does it feel, and how do you see the human effects that a lack of recognition has on Somalilanders? When you think of Somalilanders that's similar age to you, have not that don't have this access, what do you feel by, and what do we need? Sorry, I don't know if you could hear me, but as a human, as a Somalilander,
they have effects on everybody, to be honest. Your parents will have country of origin Somalia, other one Somalia. You're from Somaliland. Your kids will at least be born in the West, so they're like unaffected by it. You're born in the West. I have birth certificate, so like I'm unaffected by it. But at the same time, when they come on, when you call them, their number says Somalia 252. That's the code of Somaliland. That was given to us on the 26th of June, 252. Simple things. You use Dahab Shield, their banking systems. It's like, why is our government not trying to get legal clarification on the situation? I don't understand it. It does affect us quite badly, to be honest, because we don't want to be known as people from Somalia. Not at all. You know, Somaliland is
Man,
not a
yeah.
breakaway region. Somaliland is a de jure sovereign state. It was recognized in 1960. There is no treaty, ratification, act of union. There was no legal extinguishment of Somaliland's sovereignty. Instead, Somalia, under a trusteeship, impersonates Somaliland at the UN without a union, spreading lies, registering a lie, and that is forgery under international law. So even when the Americans, they impose like a travel ban, it has to distinguish between fact and fiction. You cannot apply territorial integrity if Somalia cannot produce a treaty on Article 102, a lawful union. They can't even prove their own sovereignty, 1st of July, to be honest. Yeah. So, yeah, Somaliland needs to just,
Thankfully, man. Yeah,
yeah.
I think for me, and I will speak for myself. I think I visited back home. I see my cousins and my family members. Would they have multiple degrees at some point because of the lack of jobs? The job competition is unreal. Very little jobs. We then have a large number of migration. We have, Somaliland has a long history of, when you look at our ancestors, we had Jewish that are living in Somalia. We had